Wango tango, wango tango, wango, 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 wango. Spirit fire camp. Campfire. Remember the Nuge. He loves us. Okay, I'm back. I squirreled off for a minute. Nugent, he's awesome. Thank you very much. And so is Elvis. Moving on. If you're not a weirdo, nothing will work. You know, you gotta throw it out there and go, Jesus, give me something. Here we go. What I told you last time was, remember, photograph everything. Your left is your right is your left. Right here. So if you look here, you see this? See these bolts right here? If you come over here, my illustrious camera lady. So you see how I put these marks here? 2, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3. Get into the habit of this. The back is the back. Okay, the right is the right. And then when you fold it over, the left is, you know, it reverses. But mark everything. This is so important. So you don't get lost, because sometimes, you know, if you're working for someone else and they'll go, oh, tear this apart, and then you have all of these patterns, everything's laid out, and you're gonna panic. There's no need for it. It's a seat, okay? It's a seat. Relax. You know, pay attention to what you're doing. Do one seat at a time if you have to. It's not rocket science, but it kind of is, especially when you have to sew these. That's coming up next. You ready? You know, you gotta get some new loose laces for your boots, and you know. So, boom, boom, boom. Everything matches up. See those holes? That bam, 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 boom, 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 boom. This is kind of a fast forward. I pulled all the staples. Now, if you'll notice this plastic, always make sure that you do this. Do not do a shortcut. Never shortcut no one, first and foremost. But with marine upholstery, you have to do this. You have to put this plastic on this foam, or it'll mold, it'll rot, and you won't be an upholsterer very long in town. They'll run you out on a rail. It was a tarred and feathered. Yeah, I mean, it's a bad thing. You don't want to go there. Don't want to go there. So here we go. Remember, I pulled all the staples. So this comes off. Now we fold the skin, or the hide, like I said earlier, inside out. I try to make fun of everything because I've never done videos. This is kind of weird. I feel kind of weird doing this. But I'm just trying to be human. Okay, so now that it's inside out, okay. Boom, boom. You'll notice your right is your left, and your left is your right, because it's backwards. Relax, and once you get it tore apart, then it'll make sense to you. I know it's mundane and it's corny, but the videos, that's what we're doing. You'll run across these things, and your mind will play tricks on you. This is important, super important. You will just go, oh no, what? It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Your mirror image is backwards when you fold it inside out to trace it, to tear it apart. So we have an outstanding tool. This is called a seam ripper. This is just one step above. Where's that other monster? This horrible thing. It's a staple puller. And if you work for someone else, you'll know what I mean eventually. You won't be able to use your hands. So Okay. This is the Universal 5629. Yamama! The Kung Fu Master. So, what we're going to do, we got bottom. You notice how I've marked this? Okay. So, a lot of things I like to do, other than say so all the time. So. I know that's irritating. But I'm working on it. I mean, who does videos? Nobody does videos. This is a new thing. How about this? One on the one, dot. How about 2 dots on that top? Then you will not ever be mistaken. A left and a right looks a lot like the same. And if you're tracing identical patterns, you want to know what you're doing, okay? If you see discrepancies, I said in my previous videos, to where you'll see one that'll dive way in or way out, and then you'll look at the board and it looks identical on left and right. No. Pick the best one, flip it, mirror it, and every single time, your patterns have to be perfect. And it's odd to me because I find this all the time in this industry. I don't know if it's a shortcut or what it is, or it's the sewer. It baffles me because sometimes they're off like a half an inch, but they still fit. Crazy. Figure that one out. I don't know. So we got, okay, 2 on here. Okay, 1, 2. Let's come over here and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are little tricks. I don't do this. I've been doing it so long. It'll become second nature to you. You'll notice things. But this is doing this every day. I'm in this garage like paint on the wall. Okay? And then you'll notice things that I know things that you can't read in a book. You have to have someone show you that'll just make the whole job just way different. I mean, it'll just flow. You know, from butt ends like this to these addeds, these things, they look super complicated, but they're not. Okay. When you have a big field like this and you're putting in these they're like it's like a cushion. I like to really bolster these out real heavy. I like to really make these thick, and they're not. If you like, again, you can see that they're just floating on top of the foam. But there are anchors in here. We'll talk about that later. I know I'm squirreling off. I apologize. But this video is just a tear down and then marking. Again, we'll do this bunches of times. You'll see this all the time. Your right is your left is your right. Once you skin it and fold it inside out, and then you start to trace it so you don't get confused. Always remember that. And mark it as such. Like if you're looking at the front of a seat, and you're like, to me, that's left, that's right. But when you fold it inside out and start to trace it, that's right and that's left. You'll see later. I know it's hard to explain, but it ain't. Or I'm just stupid. So now, once you have it skinned, I call it skinned, you come through with your trusty rusty. Make sure all of your staples are pulled like that. To where you don't want to cut yourself or hurt yourself. And then just kind of come up and boom, boom, boom. And you've already, yeah, sometimes they fight you. But you want a perfect pattern. And this is what this video entails, is how to, you're walking in and you don't have a pattern. You got to duplicate this. And this is what we're doing. And just take your time. And if you have to come in like this from the top, you just go clip, 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 clip. Take your time. Sometimes you can go like this, whatever it takes. But do not, see this sew allowance? Industry standard is 1/2 of an inch. And you'll look at a lot of these foreign jobs, most of them are. They're done overseas. These are made in sweatshops, probably bad situations, but, and you'll look at, and this is a really good thing to talk about. Okay, so you have, I call it a league because I like old things. Okay, how many leagues? You know, sailors and whatnot. My grandpa was a sailor, my daddy's dad. But so 1/2 inch sew allowance is industry standard. So look at this. Look how off that is. Look how non-existent that is. And then we come around here. And so they're riding, I mean, what are they riding at? You know, 2/8 of an inch, which is what? Do you know how to read a tape? Look at this. This is not 1/2 an inch. So they're adjusting for this foam that they have. This foam, all of this is done in CAD machines. And it's very impersonal. There's another lesson that I will do eventually to show you how to know what kind of foam, what kind of frame, what kind of bulk you have, and where to start, how to come from ground zero to make a pattern, okay? But in the meantime, when you see stuff like this, when they come shallow on the turns, okay, and they come real deep, okay, real deep on the outside, what does that tell you? You see, this is things that I just see. So that's why these videos are valuable, because this is real stuff. This is what you're going to run across. And I look on YouTube and stuff, and I don't see this, and that's what I would want to know. It's like, well, dude, how do you do this? Okay, look. This comes down, this goes shallow. That means that foam is heavier on that end. But still, you should always still take the same allowance. What's the other alternative? The other alternative is they just cut that so it would lay better. Okay? There's a little trick there. And I have to do this because I've been trying to think about how to show someone how to do this. These are trimmed. So what I just told you was a lie. But I just wanted to see if you would pay attention and follow me. They just trimmed it. Okay, they trimmed it. It probably was a 1/2 inch sew allowance or close to it. A lot of people, a true 1/2 inch is a big deal. You're gonna run into this. If you are an upholsterer and you sew, or you sew for a living, you're gonna see so many people that, I don't know why they hate the 1/2 inch. But when you go to put it on, okay, once you've duplicated this and you go to put it back on to the frame, you either fold your sew allowance in accordance to the frontage of the boat. You're looking at the front of the boat, okay, the back seat. You want to fold your sew allowance under to where it doesn't show or it doesn't protrude, okay, to where you're just like, what is that? And then you'll see a line. That's why they cut it. Okay, so I went the long way around the barn. Thank you for your patience. But that's an important lesson. Ask any upholsterer. Big deal. No shit. So, I mean, I didn't mean that, but I'm cussing. Good grief. So, And watch, as you come around the backside to where it doesn't matter as much, to where it's hidden, look at that. Look at that 1/2 inch start to pop up. But up here in these corners, it originally was a 1/2 inch, but they trimmed it off. So I started off shallow, acted like they did it wrong, and then told you later that, yes, they just trimmed it up so it would lay right, so it looks good aesthetically to the eye. Or you'll see all that salvage underneath of there. You have to trim it off, but trim it off right. To do it like this, and then come into this. Okay, you have a 1/2 inch sew allowance, which gives you the proper lay of fabrics, vinyls, leathers. It's imperative that you keep the sew allowance. I would not recommend trimming it off like this. There is a way to keep the sew allowance without having it be aesthetically obtrusive, okay? You can still keep it. Whether you have to razor blade a cut in the vinyl, take it, you know, you got to put the work in. You can hide that sew allowance, but you need it. And I think it compromises the integrity of the piece when you cut it like this. You can see they cut it. So I know this is a long way around the barn for a lesson, but this is important. These are things to look for. I'm talking to people that want to learn how to do this. That's what these videos are going to be. These are things that you're going to run into. You want to be an upholsterer? There's lots of tedious, weird stuff. And this is one of them to recognize. That's why I'm beating a dead horse right now. And I thank you for your patience. But these are going to be my videos. And good luck finding anything like this. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying, let's just do this right. So, what this video is just taking this off. Let's finish this real quick. Okay, and then I'll show you. Like I said, you come in from the top, or you can come in and push slow, but see how I cut that? You want to try to avoid that. So take your time. If sometimes the thread is, it could be sun baked, UV baked, just real difficult. They could have used a real heavy thread, but just take your time. Okay, so let's go here. This is the perfect lesson. So look at this, and then look at this. How bizarre, huh? This is a mirror image of this side. Okay, it's the side of a seat. So I just wanted to show you that aspect. Don't panic. That's why I put 1 dot here and 2 dots there. 1 dot here, 2 dots there. Do this, and you won't fail. So what we do next is, once we have, okay, this is 3 pieces. This seat's 3 pieces. But they're highly technical in truth. You know, and you want no staples. You know, before you go ironing this, because that's next, you want to come through and take your time and take these old threads out. And, you know, and this is just, I don't know. This isn't very good marine vinyl at all. But, and that's the industry, you know, it's slam bam and out the door. It's not like, you know, Ford and Chevrolet, the old, you know, they made it to last. But you still can have them qualities, and you can still have those integrities when it comes to making these things. You know, boats are beautiful and they're hard to come by, and we work hard for the things that we have. So we have to really make sure that we take our time and treat each other right when we do these things. But This is simply you spray it with water, you put it on the ironing board, and you iron it nice and slow, nice and hot. Let it rest, nice and slow, nice and hot. Don't, take your time. And then you put a big piece of a board on top of it with weights. Like I use, this is an old piece of railroad tie that I use. And then I have different pieces of boards that I use, and it's just a standard ironing board. But I will iron this, and you'll see how it wrinkles up like that. Now that'll cut loose once you get the back wet. These are things that we do. And then I'll show you how to trace these and anticipate when you need to add a little bit more, or you need to just kind of cut that in a little bit. I promise you, I'll walk you through this. But when you see these dimples, you see those two dimples? That's the edge of this, okay? That's the edge of this. And you know why those two big dimples are so pronounced? Is because they did not use this. You know why they didn't use this? Because this costs money. But you're paying money for your boat that probably took you, who knows? Either you signed your life away, or you've spent money you didn't have, or I don't know. I don't have a lot of money. I do okay. But that's that extra step. And that's how you avoid those things. But all these little things matter. So please pay attention. And I'll get back to you. I have to do short videos. I'm running out of time. I'm sorry. I'll see you around like a donut. Hop, hop.